you see what they did to Lurtz's profile? Guy's a beast now. 3 attacks, 3 wounds.
Yeah.
He's like amazing. He's got he's got defense 6 now and an awesome special roll.
Yeah.
He's like way better for 30 points.
He is.
Yeah.
But all these these elven heroes are ridiculous. They all have Lord of the West as their special role. It's like, how many Lords of the West can there be?
I don't know.
But it's silly. It's like a built-in banner and feint.
I know, it's really good.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I guess we should
probably get along with it.
Yeah. Welcome, guys, to another episode of Our Adventures in Middle-earth.
Yes.
Are you recovered yet, or?
We have traveled to Mount Doom and returned.
we have. And it was far. Even in the car, we didn't even have to walk.
It feels like we went to Mount Doom with the amount of up and down we were doing in the mountains.
I know. Like, Pennsylvania is like a hilly place. Holy smokes.
There was times where we were going downhill for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my foot on the gas pedal. It was just coasting.
So we just came back from Nova.
Yep.
Actually got back home yesterday. It's Tuesday today. So we drove down to Nova, left on Wednesday night. Wednesday afternoon. Went around about halfway and stopped at a hotel in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And then
Altoona,
yeah. And then we got up the next morning and drove the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
arrived at 12:30.
Yeah, just in time for the first event.
Yeah. We squeaked in.
But before we get into all that, just want to talk about another tournament that I went to. You weren't able to make it.
No, I was working.
Yeah, and sorry, did you have the date? I've forgotten the date. It was the same weekend that Articon was
August 18th.
August 18th weekend, yeah. And Andrew Brock and I went to it, and unfortunately Garrett was busy working.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Fly to Peterborough, you fools.
Yes.
And it kind of turned almost into like a primer for Nova. Because
I think they changed the points and the missions to...
It was run by Chris O'Reilly and Travis Freeburn.
The Peterborough guys.
Yeah. And they've run this same tournament now for, I think, this is at least the 3rd year.
So was that the same
it was at
Legion Hall?
like it's a cadet hall, or Air Cadets Hall, I think it was. Yeah. And it was... I would say this is kind of a meat and potatoes tournament for our league. Like, this is what our league is built on, is this kind of tournament.
Yeah.
It's not run in a store. It's not run in a convention. It's its own venue. There's no other gaming events going on. And I forget exactly the numbers, but it was like 20 or 22 players somewhere in there.
That's good.
I could be off there a little bit, but... it was 4 games and $750 with the same comp rules as Nova, so that anyone that wanted to bring their Nova list could bring their Nova list.
It was practice for Nova.
Yeah, I didn't bring my Nova list because, I was bringing straight Isengard, pretty much pure Uruk-hai to Nova.
Okay.
And I figured, you know what, if I don't know how to play that list now, there's something terribly wrong.
Yeah, you've been playing it since we started, basically.
So I thought, I'm going to actually use this as a break and take something different. So I actually took a multi-faction, semi-cheesy army. I took Goblin Town with the Goblin King and what else I have? Moria, Shaman with some goblins and a couple of cave trolls.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So something that no longer works with the Fury, because we'll get to that in time. Anyway, so it was a good game, and Andrew brought his. It was the first time for him testing his kind of list, but with fell beasts removed from it.
Yeah.
Because we
convinced him.
We convinced him. Let's use the word convinced.
Yeah.
To not use the fell beast.
Still had a ring wraith.
Yeah. So he actually went single faction, no fell beast.
No, it was dual faction.
Did he have 2 factions? Though?
Yeah, it was Dark Denizens of Mirkwood.
That's right.
He had the
he threw in some spiders.
Mirkwood spiders.
Yeah. So I guess it was a learning thing for him because I believe he went 2-2. He lost 2 and 1-2, I think. So he didn't podium, and I lost my first game to Adam Marcel, and then I think I won the rest of my 3 games.
Yeah, you said you won all 3.
And so I think I came in 4th, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 5th, something like that. But the tournament was won by Ben Boomer. I forget what army he had because I didn't play him.
It was probably Arnor Rivendell.
Arnor Rivendell. Adam Marcel came in 2nd with his Lake Town.
Survivors Lake Town.
Survivors Lake Town. And Joseph Hanlon came in 3rd.
I think he runs like a mix of dwarves and Lothlorien.
Yeah, mix of dwarves.
With a wizard.
Dwarves and elves.
Do you have Gandalf or Saruman?
Again, I don't think I played him, so probably had Gandalf, but not sure. Okay. But it was a good tournament. Yeah. Excellent tournament. Unfortunately, Travis couldn't be there because he had to. I think he had some unexpected work he had to do for his job. He was out in Eastern Canada because I know he travels a lot with his work. So Chris was running the show there, and he did a great job. It was a really fun, laid-back event. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah,
really
I was kind of bummed that I couldn't go. It's the first one I've missed in a really long time, but it happens.
Such is life.
I needed to have the end of the month off to go to Nova, so I had to make...
well, yeah, that's the thing. We're in the season right now where there's like so much stuff going on with the game that you just can't possibly get to all of it. So,
yeah.
That was the one that you had to miss, right? So, but then we got ready for Nova right away and went to Nova this past weekend.
We did.
Yeah, and so you and I teamed up for doubles.
We did.
So that was good.
It was fun.
But the first event we played,
just in time.
Yeah, it ended up that we were going to leave later on Wednesday and then not make it for Deadliest Heroes.
Yes.
But then I was able to actually leave earlier.
Yeah.
Thanks to my wonderful wife who agreed to walk home from work at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, we were lucky.
Yeah.
I had to work a little bit later than I was expecting, but we still managed to get out of here before 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and we just made it there in time. Like, we just had enough time to check into our hotel, drop our stuff, and run down to the hall, which we weren't even in the same hotel. We were across the street.
Yeah. We had to pay for the event because none of us had signed up for it.
We hadn't signed up.
Thinking we weren't going to make it.
Yeah,
it was just...
So we just got there in time for Deadliest Heroes. And Deadliest Heroes was like 1,000 points.
All heroes.
All heroes. And was it maximum 2 factions?
I think so.
I think it was, yeah.
The restriction was you couldn't take any of the named Ringwraith profiles aside from the Witch King.
Mm-hmm.
You can still take the basic Ringwraiths, not the named.
Oh, Jesus, I'm going to destroy the place. So, for myself, because I was taking Isengard down, I didn't want to repack, and we threw these armies together last minute. So I took Saruman on horse, Thryden, Vrasku, Mahur, Lurtz, Sharku, and Uruk-hai captain. And then to that I threw in some Mordor allies, which was a Ringwraith 292 on horse, Shagrat war leader, 2 Black Númenórean marshals mounted with shield and lance, and 1 Castellan of Dol Guldur.
And then you forgot your Uruk-hai captain at home.
I did. So I used a berserker to stand in for him.
That works. I took the Necromancer and the 9 Nazgul of Dol Guldur. Because it was 1,000 points, it was all heroes, and it had it painted.
Yeah. Second all-hero tournament this year, you've taken that too, right?
Well, you guys are like, we're doing Deadliest Heroes, and...
I didn't say it was Drew. He wanted
I didn't have enough good heroes painted, or evil heroes painted other than that, to take, so I just said, whatever, I'll just take this.
Yeah.
So.
Right on. So, game 1, it was 3 games.
Yep.
Who'd you play game 1?
Tim Hines.
Tim Hines, okay.
Yep.
Lives fairly close to us here in New York State.
Yep, he's just the other side of the lake, I think.
Yeah.
Near the border. It was, what was our mission? Oh, it was Lords of Battle.
Mm-hmm.
He killed my guys a lot. because of what my guys are 1 wound, no fate, so
Yeah.
they die easily, especially against other heroes.
What did he have?
Sauron with the ring, so a big expensive hero. He had a Mordor troll chieftain. I think he had a basic ring wraith. No, he had the Witch King on foot with the crown, and I forget what his numbers were. It was like 3, 12, 3 or something.
Okay.
Gothmog, and I want to say it was one of the guys that you had. Shagrat, but no shield.
Okay.
Or no,
So-
he did have a shield.
Well, it's either the...
Gothmog didn't have a shield.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
because it's either Shagrat or Shagrat Warleader.
There's some. I think that was all he had.
Okay, we'll get the rough idea.
Yeah.
anyways.
I think I killed everything but Sauron,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was that, and I actually caused enough wounds for him to start rolling on his ring save.
Mm-hmm.
The final combat of the game, or the second final combat of the game, I had all my guys on him, and the dungeon keeper, keeper of the dungeons,
Yeah.
that guy is a monster. I two-handed piercing strike against Sauron.
Oh, yeah?
I got up to strength 8, which is 5s, down to 4s because of two-handed, and I don't know if his ring affects his rule. I don't think it is. No, it's three elves, 3 of them rings. But anyway, I rolled 4. I rolled 4 pluses and
Yeah.
wounded him 4 times. So I dropped him down to 1 wound with just
Oh,
that
nice.
one guy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
So
it
then he was
it's
rolling
crazy.
on his ring save, yeah.
Yeah, and I ended up breaking him, and I don't know if there's any other rules for that one. It's just wounds, breaking, and not leader. I think it's just wounds and breaking. There's got to be something else I'm forgetting. But anyway, I ended up winning that one.
Yeah. I ended up playing Damien O'Byrne
Yeah,
in the first game, which was great. First time I've ever played Damien.
yeah, he's a
And it
good
was
friend.
it was a really fun game because he had the full champions of Erebor, because I guess they all add up to 1,000 points.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, yeah. He won in the end. He smashed me 12-1. It was closer than that would make it seem.
Mhm.
Like what ended up happening, I have a picture I'll put up here, but like I sort of split my force to go around a building, and by and large he sort of just attacked the one group, so you know, the whole divide and conquer thing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty well what decided the game. On the far side though, I had Sharku on his mount run, and I did this a lot during the tournament actually. Tried to like lure people away with him or other warg riders. And he sent 3 champions of Erebor chasing him, including Dwalin. So I'm like, good, I'm good with this. They can chase that guy for as long as they want.
Yeah.
So that actually kind of kept me in it. And in the second half of the game, he was taking it to me hard at the beginning, and I lost, the first guy. Then I lost the second guy, and it was like, oh my God, this is going to be all him here.
Yeah.
And then as the rest of my force got into combat, and those 3 dwarves were still chasing Sharku over there, I managed to start dropping dwarves.
Oh, okay.
And fortunately, the Castellan, like he does, he occupied a hero for at least 2 turns before being pinned against the wall, and he attacked him with 3 guys and killed him finally.
Yeah.
But he did his job for 40 points. That thing is crazy.
Yeah.
So it pulled me back into the game, and I can't even remember what my one. Well, I think I got 1 point because I wounded his leader. Yeah, what happened now? He attacked like my captain, I think it was, with Thorin and somebody else, and it was just one of those fluke things where I fluke won it, and then I rolled to wound him, and I fluke wounded him, and he failed his fate save or whatever. Right, but it was a really good game. So he won, I lost. And we move on.
Yeah. Second game I played against. Where is that? I can't remember what his name was. Oh, Joshua Lawrence. Yes. He had a Angmar Mordor alliance.
Mm-hmm.
He had Troll Chieftain again, Witch King on Fell Beast, Cave Drake,
Mm-hmm.
a
Cave Drake.
yeah Cave
That's
Drake,
different.
the thing that paralyzes Bear White,
Mm-hmm.
Bear. No, it's not Bear. What's the guy's name? Burger.
Burger.
And then I think the last thing was, I always want to call it Gwahir, which is like the eagle,
Gwahir.
but it's
No.
like Gwolavar.
Gwolavar,
I think is.
So he had a small army.
Yeah.
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 Big things, a small army.
Yeah. So we both marched first turn.
Yeah.
He has a flying monster which landed on the objective because we were playing.
Seize the Prize.
Is it Seize the Prize?
Yep.
Yes, Seize the Prize. He was able to dig it up, but then the next turn I was able to get a comment with him. We killed each other. I didn't lose anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it came down to all of my guys chasing the Witch King down, and the game decision came down to a single die 4 roll.
Oh yeah.
It was either it came down to a fate roll on the Witch King. I remember. I think that's what it was. It came down to a single die roll. It was a 4+. He won 1 to 3. I won.
Mm-hmm.
So we called Devin over to roll it, and he got a 4. So I was like, oh, devastated. Because I had broken him, and I killed one of the Witch King was his leader, but I had broken him, and he had the prize. But if he had died, the prize would have dropped.
Yeah.
I was within 3 inches, so I would have got the point for that, plus killing his leader and breaking him at that point, so it would have been a major win for me. But it just so happened that his leader survived with...
It's funny how often you hear after somebody loses a game, it all came down to one die roll.
It did. In the end, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was one fate save, and
happens more times than you think.
yeah. But I like games like that.
Yeah.
Where it comes down, it's not
Close.
like a complete blowout for one side, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, I've already lost the game, and it's only first turn, right?
Yeah.
I like games where it comes down to that single die roll. It's
Yeah.
like, we should have just rolled the die at the beginning of the game and all gone and had a beer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. I think it was. He had the objective on my side of the table.
Yeah.
But I had scored some points as well, so it was. I think it was ended up being a 4-3 or 5-4. It was 5-4, something like that. It was a minor win for him.
I ended up playing in game 2 Ronan Satnik.
Oh.
So one of our regulars from our group that both of us drove 11 hours down to Washington to play each other.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's not the first game.
No. Yeah. So the first game was great. Playing Damien was fantastic because,
Yeah.
I think we've all kind of become friends, and
For sure.
I haven't had the chance to play him before, and it was really good.
I don't think I've played him yet.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough to be at his table.
I think he would probably disagree with that statement. Anyways, Ronan had he had Goblin Town and Azog.
Didn't he have like a ridiculous amount of Goblin?
Yeah.
Goblin
I
Town
forget.
captains?
I forget. Actually, I know Damien played him as well. I think in game 3.
Yeah.
I lost to Ronan. I go right to the gist of the matter at
Yeah.
the beginning. Okay, I lost. Damien later beat Ronan, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how could you have won? Because he had like, I forget if it was 18 or 20 Goblin Town captains.
It was 18 I asked him.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah.
It was a lot. He also had the Goblin Scribe, and he had Azog mounted.
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
list.
That was the whole thing. In our game, we both set up fairly close. I ran in first with Sharku, dismounted, dug up the prize. Just like that.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we were playing beside each other.
Yeah. Of course, I moved guys in front, though, to screen,
block,
as
Screen.
blockers. So anyway, what happened was, pardon me, I ended up moving up on my left and attacking him. I commanded one of the goblins in, the thing that later came back to haunt us, the same tactic.
Yeah.
I called the one goblin in, charged him with like tons of heroes.
Yeah.
And heroic combated off of him, and then Sauron charged a guy, Thryden on horse charged a guy, and then all that crowd of Uruk-hai charged guy. And I dropped, I don't know, probably like 5 goblins right off the bat, just like boom, and I'm like, I've got this. Right.
You got overconfident.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the time when you kill that many models, you think, okay, this is going.
There's still 18 of
going
them.
my way, right? The second round of combat, it wasn't as devastating, but it was all me killing stuff.
Okay.
Not sure if he killed anything that turn. Maybe won a couple combats, did a couple wounds on things. The third turn was when it started to turn, and that was because Azog joined in on the other flank. And at that point, he charged my ring wraith and killed it in one turn. Boom, dead.
Azog does that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with that combination, he's trapping something for Azog every turn because he's got so many goblins. Like they're basically there just to trap
and use their might to call heroic combats.
And call heroic combats. Yeah. And that's what he was doing. So from then on, I was losing either 1 or 2 of my heroes every turn.
Wow. Azog is the hero killer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wins everything on a 3+.
I forget how it actually ended up happening, but it ended up that the warg from Sharku ended up with the prize.
Really?
Yeah. And I can't remember for the life of me how it happened. I think maybe I dug it up with the warg, actually.
Okay.
I think I dismounted and then dug it up with the warg. I was just going to run it back, right? Yeah. The problem was the Goblin Scribe. And like I was trying to stay away from Azog, who's charging 10. So, and then the thing was he had goblins coming in. Like
just
when
basic goblins.
Yeah, he would see me going this way, he'd have goblins there, right? And it ended up that I think it was on the last turn, he killed the warg and acquired the prize.
That's a model that should have been banned as well, I think, as a Goblin Scribe. Well, because you're bringing in not
in that tournament.
Heroes.
That's all heroes. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong in that. But anyways, it was allowed, so it is what it is. So that game there, it was one that started out good for me. Everything went my way. I did lots of killing at the beginning. I got the prize and lost the game in the end.
Yep.
So, what can you do?
That's what it is.
It is. Game 3 was Heirlooms.
Mm-hmm.
Heirlooms of Ages Past.
The most unfun game ever.
The most unfun game. The one that I say that I like the least and probably play the most.
Yeah. It seems to be in every tournament we go to.
Yeah. And how'd you do and all that?
I played against Samir.
Okay.
He had Rivendell and Numenor mix. So he had Elendil on horse with shield, Isildur on horse with shield, 2 Rivendell Knight Captains. What else did he have?
That's only 4 models so far.
Yeah. Oh, and then he had Glorfindel on horse with armor. Elrond on horse with armor. And Gil-galad on foot.
Okay, so he had like...
Other
other than the 2 captains, he had some heavy hitters.
If it was the new rules of those characters, it would have been very bad for me. Like I would not have done anywhere near as well as I did.
Yeah.
But it was crazy because my guys drop so easy.
Yeah.
And he had Elven Blades this game. All the other games, no Elven Blades.
No Elven Blades, yeah.
So I had to be cautious with my might. I couldn't just throw it away.
Yeah.
Because usually my guys are just like, whatever. I need a 2+ to resurrect.
Yeah.
You haven't cast a magic spell on me or hit me with an Elven Blade. So I'm going to spend my might to heroic move and
normally if there's Elven Blades and magic around, you hold on to your might for your resurrection roll. And if there's not, then you don't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah.
I've played that army with no magic, no Elven Blades, and it is
not
hard.
Fun. It's not fun.
It's hard.
The army is designed as it's like an attrition army, and if you can outlast your opponent, which is really easy to do when your guys can just keep coming back, especially if they don't target the Necromancer, I believe that the easiest way to win against them is just kill the Necromancer as fast as possible.
Yeah, but the thing is, the guy that's playing that army, your sole purpose is basically to keep the necromancer out of combat.
Yeah. So we came on different areas. We traded back and forth, checking objectives. I kept the one in my corner, which the keeper of the dungeons, the dungeon keeper, on top of it, expecting to pick up the one on the other side of the table. Because I knew it was going to come down to the two, and then you flip the one, and the one that's more advantageous to you is the one you picked the right spot for, right? Well, by the time it came down to those two objectives, he had Gilgalad, Elendil, and a bunch of guys like right next to that one. So I was like, I will check this one and hopefully not roll a 6, and it ended up being the one on the other side of the table. But he still managed to get his guys back. Yeah, and every time I won a combat against a mounted hero, I was like, go for the horse, go for the horse. Yeah, I ended up. It came down to I think we were like the last people playing, and everybody was watching us, and he managed to kill one of my guys and get the objective, and then he was able to move away because we had no might left, so he won the roll off and got away from me, and I couldn't catch him, and the game ended. So
you lost that one.
I lost that one, yeah.
So you won your first one?
But it was still fun. It was really fun to fight. Like, that's the one thing I like about that Night School Army. It's awesome for like an all-hero tournament. And like,
well, because odds are the guy's going to either have magic or elven blades, right?
Not all the time. Like, my first two opponents were playing evil, and they had magic, but they were not they were casting transfix and stuff, right? They weren't using magic spells, so. Yeah, I lost that one. So I ended the tournament with I think it was a major win, a minor loss, and a major loss. So I don't know where I finished. Somewhere near the bottom.
Somewhere down.
Which was the exact opposite of what the other person that took. There's two of us with the same army.
Yeah.
Jacob Hall had it, and he ended up taking it all. So.
He won it.
Yeah.
Right on. My game 3 opponent was Ronan's dad, Derek. So 2 of my 3 opponents were guys I play all the time.
So you played one guy that lives halfway across the world.
Yeah.
And then 2 guys that you basically drove down.
So it kind of averaged out.
Yeah.
Kind of averaged out a little bit there. Yeah, and Derek had a good army, and it was, I think, Gladriel, Lady of Light, Glorfindel Mounted, Radagast on Sleigh, Arrestor, King's Champion, and Murin and Drar. I think that was the whole army.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was good, you know. Arwen. He also had Arwen.
Yes, he did.
Mounted as well. The deployment was a bit odd in that I came on very scattered.
Yeah.
In quite a few different locations. And he came on basically in 2 locations. He had almost his entire army in one sort of corner of the board, and Murin and Drar on the opposite side.
Okay.
So for heirlooms, it's a better deployment for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Because you don't actually want to be all deployed together in that mission.
No. Well, because if the objective's on the other side of the board and you're all in the corner, unless you're super fast.
So the way it was going to go was going to be, I was going to be able to hit, like he was only close to one objective. And Murin and Drar were going to be fighting with my Castellan of Dol Guldur for another one. So he ended up searching that one, wasn't it? I ended up searching the one over there, it wasn't it? And it was just going to be that I was going to end up searching all the other ones and leave the one that was kind of sort of where I was sitting.
Sure.
And that's exactly what happened. It ended up that there was that one near me and the one right in the middle, right? And as always happens, went and searched the one in the middle, it's it.
Awesome.
Right in the center of the board. So anyway, he killed some of my isolated heroes early on, you know, because he had Radagast on Sleigh and, you know, Galadriel.
Yeah.
Oh no, I guess she wasn't the right one for. He was just casting Fortify Spirit with her.
Yeah.
Because I had my Ring Wraith and that, and Saruman, but in the end. What happened? I did the shoot into combat quite a bit in that game, and killed a bunch of his stuff. He killed a bunch of my stuff, but it ended up that I ended up getting it and coming back with it. Wasn't a very exciting game in that sense because we had a lot of sort of what ended up to be somewhat meaningless combats because they were just one hero fighting another hero, but really didn't affect the outcome of the game. What affected the outcome of the game was I got to the prize and pulled it back and retained it. So that gave me the win. And I don't remember what the score was, but it was a fun game. It was always, those guys are always fun to play. So had a great game, and I got a win finally after 2 losses.
So it was 2 losses and a win for you.
So it was like it was my second ever Nova win.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because last time
I just brought like a silly army, and in singles like I didn't get a win.
You got some ties.
Yeah, I got a few ties, but no wins.
Wow.
And in doubles last year, I played with Adam Marcel, and we won only 1 game, and those were the only 2 events we played. So last time I went, it was 2 years ago, 2016. I won only 1 game at Nova. Out of 8.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was good. So I doubled my total Nova victories.
Awesome.
Yeah, right there.
So that was right after we had got there.
Yeah, so that was the end of the day, right? Because it started at 1 or something like that, 1 in the afternoon. Yeah,
this was Thursday. It went to 1. We finished. I think we all got together and had dinner at the hotel.
We did, yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
We had Adam Troke with us as well.
Yeah.
So we all sat down and passed around the war stories.
Yeah.
And talked about all that stuff. It was good. It was really nice to sit down and have a nice dinner. That was the only time we really had like a full-on sit-down meal.
Yeah, for us. The other guys went out one other night too, but we didn't join them.
Yeah. But that was that. The next day was Friday, which was going to be Chaos and Arda and doubles.
Which we had signed up for both.
Yeah. We got up, pretty much had breakfast with the same group of people.
Yeah.
At the hotel, and
by then we were getting sticker shock on the hotel. The food prices is like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was expensive. Yeah. Like we could have 2 other meals for the cost of what breakfast was.
Yeah.
It was expensive. We were lucky though that we got it. It was like 20% off because we were part of the convention.
Yeah.
But that countered the.
And the food was great, but
it's
just expensive.
Just not worth the money, I don't think.
Yeah, like that's the thing when you go to Nova, you can go on the cheap, or you can pay the hotel prices. It's kind of what you got to decide where you're gonna do. Like we know guys that went there and they went to a grocery store, bought food, kept it in their hotel room, kept their costs right down for food, versus guys that ate every meal at the hotel and paid top dollar for their meals.
Yeah. So it's whatever. Like if
or
that's
like we did, we kind of sort of did a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I don't think we hit a grocery store, but we did McDonald's for breakfast the majority of times to keep the price down.
Subway and.
Yeah, went to Subway a few times.
Food trucks, we had a couple things at the food truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their food trucks were even expensive, and it was a lot of it was all like deep fried stuff. So I couldn't have a whole weekend of that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So
my gut is still trying to recover from the.
So we both said we're gonna have like salad for the next week.
Yeah.
To counter it out, but.
So in the end, we decided to skip Chaos and Arda because Chaos and Arda, it's a really fun game. We've both played it a bunch of times, both locally and like at Nova. I didn't play it at Nova last time. I think you did though. Didn't you?
I think I might have.
But it's an icebreaker. It's a convention game.
It is.
It's a convention game of SBG, and it's really good. And Devin's got like amazing card packs for it now.
Well,
did you see them?
Did you hear the story behind Chaos and Arda?
No.
I guess this is what I heard, and that's what I'm thinking is what Devin had done this for. Nova had approached asking if he could provide I think it was a 4th event.
Oh yeah.
For them. And they kind of just made this up the first year.
Oh yeah, I remember him saying that because they looked
the cards were like written down on scrap
paper. Yeah, but they compared it to 40K. Yeah. 40K had something similar.
Yeah.
And they kind of based it off of that. But like the first few incarnations, it was just like printed on, you know, Word or something like that, and you just cut out your cards from paper.
Yeah.
But now he's actually got like printed playing cards, and it's gone through a few like
revisions,
sort of revisions or updates
well,
or whatever.
We've run events up here
using
it, so he got feedback from that. And
yeah, and I know like Michael Campbell in our group, he put a lot of thought into it and threw a whole bunch of new cards in and probably took out some cards. And I know Devin told me that, you know, Michael Campbell, a few of his are now in it, but he's got like a proper like playing card deck, like.
Yeah, with a pack. Like you'd go to the store and you'd buy a pack of 52 playing cards.
And I intended to actually buy a pack, and then in all of the chaos I forgot, because he had them for sale there the whole
and
weekend.
some dice. I didn't buy either of them. I was on a bit of a budget, and it just wasn't part of the budget.
It's an expensive weekend. It's well worth it if you've never gone. Like it's really good. That was our second time, but there's no way getting away from the fact that it's expensive. Because it's a lot. For us, it was like what, 5 nights, something like that. 5 nights away in a hotel and food, and we drove
travel.
And
we could have probably cut it down one night, like we did the first year.
Yeah.
We went, but it was a lot of driving in a single day.
I found like
it wasn't fun.
Cutting the drive down, like it's what, an 10 or 11 hour drive or something.
Yeah, it was.
And cutting it into 2 drives with the hotel in the middle was, for me, it was way better. Way better. For you too, you did all the driving.
I was joking with Damien, is like, so it took you guys longer to drive here than it did for him to fly from halfway across the world.
Crazy.
And like, how does that work? But we talked about,
and he came by himself.
Yeah.
As well, right? He was supposed to come with Jamie Gimlin was supposed to come.
Yeah.
But something came up with Jamie, and I think he was ill. I'm not quite sure what happened, but he wasn't able to make it. Like kind of last minute, I think. So Damien thought, I'm gonna go anyways. You know, I think I know enough people now, and
we had a good time
he ended up hanging out with all the Canadians pretty well for not just the Canadians, but a lot of the time he was hanging out with us, and that was good. It was really good to see him again too.
It was. We had doubles that night.
We did.
Before the big.
Well, we checked out the vendors. We were going to say,
yes.
One of the reasons why we didn't do Arda was because we all kind of felt like we had our icebreaker with Deadliest Heroes.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of doing that, you and I went and checked out the vendors for the most of the time that the Arda was going on. Looked at all the different things for sale and all that, and I didn't really buy anything. The only thing I think I bought was the bag of Nova objective markers.
Yeah, I bought a pack too.
Yeah, and they're like, you know, the Washington Monument collapsed, and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and bust of Lincoln's head, and like stuff like that. So pretty. The
nice. White House, I think, was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's like a little souvenir that, hey, we were at this event.
Yeah.
There's tons of vendors there.
There was. Games Workshop was there.
Yeah.
In
Force World.
Yeah.
Forge World.
There was a big store there, like that sold board games and miniatures and everything, and they had the biggest booth right in the center. They were there last time we went as well.
Yeah.
It was basically like having a hobby store right in the middle, and then all of the smaller sort of vendors were around it. A lot of like laser cut wood things and 3D printed things, and you know, all for various games, not for SPG.
Yeah, there was a couple game studios as well. They were there. Like we had a demo of Blood and Plunder.
Blood and Plunder, yeah.
Which was actually pretty cool.
It was good, yeah.
For the little demo we played, and then it was neat that the guy showed us his ships that he had made as well. There was a bunch of Star Wars Fantasy Flight game stuff set up. So they had a Legion demo and an X-Wing demo for the new games of that. Warhammer Champions, the card game, was there with a big, huge booth for the demo of that.
And they were busy on the Saturday and Sunday.
They were. I don't think I saw an empty seat on the tables.
Yeah, because when we were there on Friday, there was very little activity there, but on Saturday and Sunday, every time I walked by there was like
every time I went to go, and I was like, I want to see, like, get a demo of this.
Because you bought it.
I already have cards, but I wanted to sit down and see if there was like some swag or something I could get. No one was there. Or they were sitting down and teaching somebody else the game. So I was like, well, maybe next time.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of vendors. and other game companies set up with their stuff.
Yeah, and lots of other games being played at the convention too, not just SBG. Like SBG, I'd say, you know, was it one of the smaller ones or probably average size event maybe? Like it seemed like the big one was 40K, and then the next one down was probably Age of Sigmar. Would you agree? Or
yeah, and then maybe like X-Wing was huge. X-Wing was the whole other side of that. Like there was Age of Sigmar, which took up one big half of that big room we were in, and then Star Wars X-Wing was the other half.
Yeah.
And then kind of in between those two was Armada, Guild Ball. What else was there? Star Wars Legion.
Was War Machine in a different room?
Yeah. Or? I remember last year last time we went, Malifaux was in the same room, but they were actually in a small room off to the side with themselves, so their community even got a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
War Machine was in its own room. But there was Infinity this year, which was different than the last couple of years. I think there was Blood and Plunder, and then there was like 3 or 4 different card games.
Yeah.
Legend of the Five Rings, Star Wars Destiny. I don't know if there's another.
Like that's the thing I found, that sometimes it's hard to say. It's hard to tell how many people were playing in those events, because it was hard to tell which tables were for which ones, because there were so many. Because the hall we were in, it was big, and it was only one hall of many halls that were hosting games.
Yeah.
You know, we went upstairs, and people in our league that don't do a lot of conventions or miniature games, sometimes I've talked to them and they don't have perspective on how big some of these tournaments can be. And they're like, oh wow, you know, like we got 30 people at our event, because like we always try to push to get to 30, and we've never had 40. So that shows the scale of our events. But like the tournaments that we've always gone to in the past for 40K, way back when, you know, you'd get over 100 people, and they'd be huge. Well, at this event, we went upstairs and looked at the 40K, and I took a little video of it, which I'm going to drop in here, and you'll see how big that event was.
Yeah, there was 128 tables.
Yeah.
That we could see. There might have been another room.
There had to have been more.
So that was like, what's that work out to? Almost 256 people.
So I said, because at the time we said that we thought there was 500 people. So I say 500 in this video, but it's more like 250, something like that.
If you factor in the people playing kill teams, there was there was a 30K.
30K.
There was the new Titanicus.
Necromunda was there as well.
There. All these games.
Like they had all of those. They had all of those in this big hall, and here's the video for that. Anyway, it's just like a minute or two, but check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at Nova, and this is the 40K room.
It goes all the way down.
Yeah, it goes way back there, out of sight. I don't even know. I think there's like 500 players or somewhere in that number. It's just a ridiculous, huge event. Okay, so that shows you just how big that stuff was. And I would not have wanted to play in that, because it's like it was hard enough in our room to hear your opponent on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Like in those rooms, just forget it. Like I don't even know how they do it.
And they're so close to each other too.
Yeah.
And a lot of their people, like their armies, are on massive, huge display boards.
I know. Like my display board is like maybe 12 inches by 16 inches or something like that. Yeah. And it was my old 40K one, and I chopped it down. Mm-hmm. But you see the things that they're bringing on. People were wheeling them in on like gurneys or
well, they're like
these gigantic display boards.
They're those food carts or like the station carts that you buy from IKEA. That's like your if you don't have shelf space or countertop space in your kitchen, you like put your toaster and your microwave on it, and they're wheeling those things around. It's like, how can you fit down the aisle?
Where did you think you were going to put this while you were playing the game?
Yeah.
It's, there's no room for that.
Yeah, and there's chairs and people's stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I've been part of that for so many years that I can't
I know.
do it anymore. It's
I
just
know.
not.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. So anyway,
Whatever.
back to us.
Doubles.
Friday afternoon, 1 o'clock, doubles started.
Yeah.
We teamed up.
We did. So I'll put up a picture here of our army.
There's some dismounts in there.
This is my display board. My stuff is on the right here, which is all Isengard. So I had 2 full warbands. Vrasku leading 1, 4 warriors with shield, 3 berserkers, 1 feral, 4 warriors with crossbow pike. And then I had Mahur, 4 warriors with... No, I had 7 marauder scouts with shield.
Yep.
And 5 ward riders with shield. Some of them have spears and bows, but they're just all with shield. So 26 models for me.
I was running the Tribe Master, which is the guy in the front on the camel there. He was leading 2 Watchers of Karna with bow and 5 Serpent Riders as my like cavalry contingent. I then had the Knight of Umbar on a normal Fell Beast, and he was leading a Castellan of Umbar, which is not a thing anymore, but it's a Fight 5 Castellan. 5 Aberkan Merchant Guard, which are the 2-handed chop guys, and 3 Serpent Guard Spearmen.
So at the back on the top, in the middle, those are my dismounts, and just below there, those are your dismounts.
Yeah.
So it looks bigger than it is. Like.
Yeah.
Our
army was small.
It was, yeah.
But we had designed it knowing that the missions that we were going to be playing were very, required a lot of mobility.
Yeah.
So
I think all in all, we had 44 models, is that right?
yeah, it was a small army.
Yeah. Well,
But
we
I had a
had a ring wraith on Felbies,
Yeah.
so that's what made it smaller.
Game 1.
Yeah. Game 1 was Secure and Control.
Yes, I think that's the name of it.
Yeah.
So where the objectives flip.
So you had already played Timothy Haynes. Is it Haynes or Hines? I forget.
Haynes.
Haynes. And his partner was Clayson?
I think that was what it's
Clayson? Yeah. And they had Rohan. Clayson had Rohan, and then Timothy had Lake Town. Survivors of Lake Town with Gandalf mounted.
A bunch of dudes.
Yeah, and Alfred right off the bat, he did his thing and gave Gandalf 3 extra might.
Yeah.
Right out, like first
Right
turn.
out the gate.
Yeah. So it started off, we deployed, I think, 12 inches up.
Yep.
Pretty much everything. And they deployed similarly. Lake Town on my side, on the right, Tim deployed a bunch of Lake Town in the building, had some up at the top with archery and whatever. And Gandalf was with them, and I think he deployed 1 of his warbands. Because he must have, did he have 3 warbands? He must have had 3 warbands. He deployed 1 over sort of on Clayson's side.
Mm-hmm.
And Clayson had all of his Rohan, which I believe was all mounted.
Yeah,
He had who did he have?
He had
Eowyn
Eowyn and Erkenbrand.
and Erkenbrand.
And then I think 2 full warbands.
And I think they were all Westfold Red Shields, right? So the way the game basically went was
they backed up and shot.
well, it was gonna be it looked like it was gonna all be down to there was a center objective,
which was in the open.
Yeah, so like we kind of claimed the 2 on our side, they kind of claimed 2 on their side.
Yeah.
And then the one in the middle was open, and so they sort of, well, Tim's stuff was already positioned to shoot, and Clayson kind of backed up with his stuff. I guess hoping that we would just rush the center and you would just shoot us to pieces, kind of thing. But it ended up on your side. It turned out sort of cat and mouse for quite a few rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And
I moved up a couple times. He backed up.
Yeah.
I ran into some cover so he couldn't shoot me.
Yeah.
Which kind of wasted his turn of movement. I was doing like a really tricky thing with the Umbar. I was flying out and casting. I kept trying to cast 1 dice Black Dart on Eowyn's mount just to get her dismounted.
Mm-hmm.
And never ended up happening. I think I might have. No, I took her will out right off the bat because I actually did hit it,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't want to lose his mount, so he spent his will to stop it.
Yeah, yeah.
But we were back and forth, and then it got to the point where it was like he had run a bunch of guys towards the middle. I said, okay, this is the turn, I've got to do it. I flew out.
Mm-hmm. With the ring wraith.
With the ring wraith. And all of my tribe master and that had all charged out as well to do a heroic combat. No, I didn't end up doing heroic combat. I just hurled through and actually killed 2 of my serpent riders with the hurl, and knocked pretty much every one of his cavalry off their horse that was involved in the fights that were there.
Yeah.
Which helped. And then we just, I don't know, you shot your side up, there was combats.
Yeah. Like on my side, I set up sort of directly across from where Tim was stationed in the building.
Mm-hmm.
I set up my 4 crossbows and Vrasku, and they were basically guarding that section. I had guys in front, and then I set up my ward riders and my marauders and peeled off like a few berserkers and stuff to go with them, and just marched right up the right hand side of the board, right along the edge. Just
because we're like we gotta push into his side.
Yeah.
Because we can't deal with the shooting.
So part of the way into that, Clayson tried to bring over some cavalry reinforcements, and
we shot him down.
Yeah, my shooting machine and
my 2 watchers
and
are
your 2 watchers,
snipers.
they did very well on halting that advance. Yeah. So it ended up really that my attacking group sort of went in, and as I went in, he had Gandalf there, and 2 times. Let me think if I can remember this now.
He got one off.
He got one. He was Sorcerer's Blasting.
Yeah.
And I remember he rolled bad twice. What was it?
He rolled 2 ones.
He rolled 2 ones to cast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say, this could be wrong, but I think he cast it 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 times he rolled Snake Eyes to cast it. And the other 2 times that it went off, he rolled a 1.
To see how far.
How far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the impact of it was minor.
Yeah.
Very minor. So that could have changed things dramatically if he had even rolled average there and got 4 average Sorcerer's Blasts off. Could have changed things. But as it was, I went into him and we fought, and by and large I just ground him down, and his archers that were on top, I shot them out first turn. So it wasn't one-sided,
no.
But I ground him down. But the sort of the highlight over there was I had got an Uruk-hai warrior into Gandalf one turn.
Scout.
Marauder Scout. And he won the combat, pushed me back, didn't kill me. Or maybe he did, and I got another one in the next turn. Anyway, what ended up happening was I won and killed his horse.
Yeah.
With the scout. So he rolled Fallen Rider. Boom. 1. Okay? So he takes a strength 3 hit. He rolled himself for the wound 6. So he took the wound. And he's like, I got 3 fate, 6 might. He may have used some might by now, but he's like, I'm going to roll his fate. Fails. Re-roll, because he's got the ring. Okay, fails. I'll roll the next fate. Fails. I'll re-roll, free re-roll. Fails. Oh my god. He's like, I'll roll the third one. Fails. Re-roll. Fails with the 3. I'll might it. And so he ended up using all 3 fate with re-rolls and a might point to stop the wound from falling off of his own horse.
Yeah, he probably should have used might earlier. But...
Yeah, and I don't remember what the rolls were, but it was just one of those things that just brutal, right?
Yeah.
In the end on that one, we won. I don't remember the score. I don't know if you remember.
We had 3 objectives and broke them, and they had 2 objectives.
Sounds about right.
And we didn't kill their leader because their leader was Gandalf.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any wounds on him.
Right.
So it was 2, 4, 6, 9? No. 2, 4, 6, 7 to 4.
7-4.
Yeah, we squeaked out the.
Okay, yeah,
We
yeah.
squeaked out the major win because
Mhm.
we broke Clayson's Rohan side.
Yeah. Which was kind of what we thought at the beginning of the game, like before we started, when we were just looking at their army. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, if he comes forward, it's, you know, probably fairly
Yeah, you do the
not easy, but like he's got low numbers.
you do the
so-
Felby trick. Pull a guy out,
Yeah.
heroic charge him,
Yeah.
jump off to another guy, hurl him through stuff, dismount half of his
Yeah.
flank, and then it's game over from there, right? But he didn't actually do that. He backed
No.
up,
Yeah.
and then he was like, you play the ring wraith weird, like you didn't charge right at me." I'm like, "Yeah, you've got a whole army of guys. I'm not gonna fly
With
my
bows,
I'm
like-
not gonna fly my leader, like
Yeah.
our army leader, at you and
Yeah.
get shot up and
Yeah,
surrounded and killed, right? Like that's why I was doing the whole duck behind cover, move out,
Yeah.
cast, and I just waited until the opportunity was there for me to have other guys in the area
Mhm.
to slow him down, and then that's when I jumped out and struck. But yeah, our archers did amazing that game.
They did.
Like my two guys, I think for 2 rounds they killed like a guy and a horse. It was you need 4+ to hit. We'll see who you hit. Rider 6 dead.
Yeah.
Okay, next guy shoots at the guy beside him. Roll to hit, hits. Where do I hit? Horse kills the horse with my strength 2 bows. I didn't even have to roll poison. It just
Yeah.
I was just rolling 6s and
Yeah, and my crossbows did really good too.
yeah. We did like our shooting was not. We didn't have a lot of it.
No.
It was one of
No.
the negatives to the size.
Well, I found like with my crossbows, like normally it's 4+, so you hit with 50% of your shots,
Yeah.
right? And then to wound, you usually will get like 1/3 of those will actually do something. Well, in this game here, if I hit it was killing something.
Yeah, and we were doing
it
heroic
was
accuracies
crazy,
to fire into combats
Yeah,
to try and kill horses,
yeah,
so they didn't get their heroic charge.
yeah, and it worked well.
Or not heroic charge, but like cavalry charge.
Coverage.
Yeah, we did really good in that game. But yeah, I ended up with we squeaked out a major win
hmm
for the first game.
Then we went on to game 2.
Yep.
Which was Reconnoiter.
Which is another mission why we took 10 cavalry and 7 marauders.
Yeah, and Reconnoiter, not in the new book.
No, it's not.
So we played a team of guys that were put together at the tournament. I guess they both came to the tournament without a partner. Benjamin and Cole was his partner.
Yep. And Benjamin played, I don't think it was Iron Hills, it was, what's the, Erebor Reclaimed?
Okay.
Because he had Thorin, King Under the Mountain, on War Goat, a Captain on War Goat, and then 2 10-man war bands of Iron Hills?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. And then Cole had the typical Rohan cavalry, 2 captains,
Rivendell.
10 Rivendell knights. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said Rohan.
Okay, my bad.
So he had 2 Rivendell captains mounted with lance and everything.
With shield, and then 10 Rivendell knights with shields, which is,
Right.
it equals 400 points.
Yeah.
So,
So like in my way of describing this game, everything went our way and not their way.
yeah. We had ridiculously good luck with
Yeah.
shooting. Like, unbelievably good luck.
Yes.
Like, again, my 2 archers were phenomenal.
Yeah.
In how well they did.
Yeah.
Like, I think I dismounted.
Like 2 Watchers of Karna with bows were doing the work of like 5.
Yeah,
I
I
would
took
say.
out the captain's goat,
Yeah.
and
Well, we took out the captain's goat and Thorin's goat.
you shot out Thorin's goat.
I shot out Thorin's goat. You shot out the captain's goat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Didn't we compel Thorin forward as well? I think he sapped his will, or he resisted and lost all his will.
Early on in the game, I flew out and I tried to, I cast Sap Will on him,
Right.
and he used 2 to resist, and failed, which meant that his third one was gone, so he was pretty much free reign if I wanted to.
Yeah, that's right. And then
transfix him.
you compelled him on a following turn.
No.
Didn't you?
He ended up getting into combat. I transfix charged him with
Oh yeah.
a bunch of,
He ended up. So Cole was across from me on my right hand side.
Yeah.
and Benjamin was kind of in the center of the board,
Mm-hmm.
and he ended up bringing Thorin across because this was where we were making our
And the
push.
captain too.
Yeah, and he brought them both over to try and relieve that situation. And we dismounted both of them,
Yeah.
and then when Thorin got into the fight, did we kill him right away?
No, I think I transfixed him for a turn, and then the next turn, I charged him transfixed with a serpent rider and the umbar. Boosted my stats, won the combat, knocked him down.
Yeah.
I think I rolled 4 dice, and I needed 5s, I believe. And I actually rolled out the 8 dice to wound him. I didn't rend. No, I did rend. And I needed 3+. No, it was 3+. I rended him 3+, and got 4 wounds, which killed him.
Yeah, and for me, I rushed all my stuff forward because there was like an opening, the edge of the board, and a big building. So it was a narrow, sort of maybe 8-inch wide space there.
Yeah.
And I just pushed all my Warg Riders into there to stop his guys from coming through.
Yeah.
And then flooded in with my Marauders, and
My Serpent Riders were there
your
too.
Serpent Riders ended up coming in. And you know, when you do that, and we had some might there, so we were both sides were calling heroic combats, or heroic moves rather, to, you know, either deny the charge or get the charge, and we just had more models than Cole.
We pushed all of our fast stuff up that side,
Yeah.
and it was fighting against a captain and 5 Rivendell Knights.
Yeah.
Because he had run the other stuff around kind of in between the building,
Yeah.
and we figured if we can hit this stuff hard, fast, maybe wipe it out, we could swing back and deal with the
Yeah.
other stuff.
So
we had stuff set up to block, but he had dwarves, and the dwarves were slow, so we're like, we don't even have to deal with that.
it'll
for a
take them
while.
all game to get across the board.
Yeah.
So in the end, we sort of ground him down. I don't know that we ended up killing all of it. I think his captain lived for a long time.
He did.
Yeah, but I squeaked through with maybe a Warg Rider and 2 Marauders.
Yeah. And I marched the Fell Beast.
Which ended up getting off the table, I believe, like on the last turn or so.
Yeah, it was down to 3 will, I think, and a might.
Yeah.
And we won the move, and there was no other might there, or we won the priority. So I said, you know what, I'm going to call heroic march with this guy,
Yeah.
just because he was our leader and we didn't want him to get wounded.
Yeah.
So I flew him marching across the table. I didn't get off the table, but I got away from any kind of danger.
And on the other side of the table, he had been like steadily marching a group of dwarves, trying to get off the last side, and you had a few guys there to intercept him. And I started to direct a few crossbow shots at that, but basically just ran out of time.
Yeah.
Right, you couldn't get them off.
I think we ended up breaking Cole,
Yes, we did. Yeah.
and the game ended because of the break. Or no, the game ended with us only getting 2 guys off because we 25%ed him.
Right.
We weren't paying attention and we got all bloodthirsty, and we ended up winning because we got 2 guys off and broke the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had also killed Thorin, so it was like a 10-0 win.
Something like
I'm
that.
pretty sure that's what we had.
Yeah.
So we're on a 7-4 and a 10-0 win.
So 2 majors.
2 majors going into
Yeah.
the last game.
Yeah. And as you like to say, what did we do?
We flew too close to the sun.
so we played on the top table for game 3.
Yeah, we're like, oh no, we're on the top table. This is bad.
Yeah.
And Damien was like, guys, neither of you win, just tie. Because he was
Yeah.
on the table beside us
Yeah.
with Jacob, and it was like,
Yeah.
you guys don't need to win, just tie. And I'm like, well, no, we want to win, right?
Yeah.
Of course, didn't happen. We
No.
kind of spoiled that we flew too close to the sun. But we played against the Iversons, and
Matt and Evan.
yeah, they had Mordor and Hunter Orcs.
Yeah. And they outnumbered our army by probably 10 models.
It was 10. And they had
Yeah.
58, I think, and we had
Yeah, so it was
40.
kind of like
No,
right
54.
off the bat, it's like, ugh, like all the Hunter Orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the game ended up doing the typical thing that we figured, but
It was Fog of War.
we fell. Well, it was Fog of War.
Yeah.
We picked Yaznag or Yaznag.
Yaznag.
The lance guy that
On Mount, yeah.
on War.
Fell Ward.
as our one we wanted to kill.
Yeah.
We picked Verascu as our guy we wanted to keep alive, and we picked the piece of terrain in their back left, or our back,
Yeah.
the left side of the table.
Conveniently, where Yazneg was hanging out.
Yeah. They picked my Trimaster, which is
Easy to kill.
yeah, because I guess they figured I was going to charge him forward, which normally I would do, and I played a little bit cautious.
We kind of figured right off the bat that that's who they would pick.
Yeah,
So.
and the piece of terrain that he was near.
On our right, so sort of on
Diagonal
the kitty
across,
corner across
yeah.
from what we picked.
And then they picked the Undying
Yeah.
as their guy to keep alive.
Yeah.
which
So
was-
obviously the Undying was in their list, for that
For that
mission.
yeah, or the, because you rolled to see which one you got,
Mm-hmm.
and if that guy's your leader, is really hard to kill.
Yeah.
So. it didn't
Well, I
necessarily
mean,
make
among
those
the
two,
competitive players, the Undying is a very common guy to pick for your leader. For that, you just deny the points for wounding or killing leader. And
Yeah.
It's like the other guy just can't get those points. So,
Yeah.
Which is interesting because in the new rules, he's slightly less good in that regard.
He still has that rule passive.
He does. He has 2 less will,
Yeah.
and he doesn't get will back nearly as easily for other people casting spells near him because he
Yeah.
actually has to spend a point of will to do it. So you have to spend 1 point of will and then have 2 or more people cast for it to be worth it. So you have to have like a minimum of 3 casters in your list
Yeah.
for that to really
He's
work.
still not. I think he's
He's still good.
okay.
He's still
he
good.
still has that rule where he can spend will as fate.
Yeah. He's like
Yeah.
all the ring race in the new profiles. Still good, but just not as good.
Yeah, not overpowered.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we said, we flew too close to the sun.
We made a rookie mistake early,
I
and it kind of
thinking back on it, I should have had more of my infantry out that side.
Yeah.
And
The,
then have my
the
cavalry
problem was
as like
the problem was that because we took the Fell Beast,
Yeah.
you just didn't have enough infantry in your army, right? And then we played against an army that was like
It was
heavy,
all infantry.
heavy on infantry.
Yeah.
I
had,
think he had 1 Morg Rider or something.
No, he had 2 I think it was Matt had Yazneg on Felwarg and 2 Hunter Orcs on Felwarg,
Yeah.
and then Evan had the Undying mounted and 2 Ward Riders.
I don't think the Undying was mounted.
He was.
Was he? Okay. So what ended up happening on my side of the table, so that's where we were going to push to the objective we chose, they hung back and they had Yazneg and a bunch of Hunter Orcs guarding that objective. They probably guessed that that was the one we were going to pick.
Yeah.
And on the other side, they attacked. And so on my side, I kind of was just moving up, and he was shooting me with quite a lot of success with his
Hunter Orcs.
with his Hunter Orcs, who have 4+ to shoot
Because the army bonus.
because the army bonus. And I lost quite a few guys
Yeah.
on the way up. Like I probably sent up like
Well,
a full warband plus part of another one.
They were actually shooting through your guys at my lower defense guys.
Yes, because we put my Urukai in front of your defense 4 guys.
Yeah.
But they were successful on their shooting. Meanwhile, on the other side of the board, they advanced with a huge mob of guys backed up by the Undying, and was it Thimble?
Thimble was the.
And they had the Taskmaster, was it an Orc Taskmaster?
Yeah.
Um,
And a shaman.
yeah, and we had put out like a cavalry screen there of your Serpent Riders, and they just compelled one, moved into it, heroic combat, charged the other 4, killed, I think, everything.
I lost all 5 in 1 combat.
Yeah, and that was kind of like, ugh. Like,
Yeah.
not only did they kill all those guys, but they got like a huge leapfrog towards the piece of terrain that you were going for.
Yeah.
Or they were
It
going
was
for.
a misplay, and I think it cost us.
Yeah.
I think what I should have done is switched it around and had my infantry on that side and my cavalry on the other side, and just gone right for it.
We had like, I don't say it was a good chance, but it was a chance to sort of bring back that combat. Like right in the center of the board, there was that piece of terrain, and I ended up funneling like quite a few guys on there, and they were mostly Berserkers, Ferals, and Mahur.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to quickly mop up the half a dozen guys he has on here, and I'm going to heroic down into
And
the
get
other
in
stuff.
his back.
And I just rolled
The
like
Yahtzee-
a champ.
The
Like,
Yahtzee roll.
yeah, I went for like almost a sure thing heroic combat with Mahur, and
And a
just
Berserker.
like hashtag boshed it, and just everything just stopped, and you know,
Well, tell them what you rolled.
I don't remember.
Okay, so it was a heroic combat with Mahur and a Berserker.
Oh yeah,
so it's 5 dice, and you roll them on the side.
Yeah.
4 of them came up 1s.
Yeah, and
And
one
one
was
of them
a
was a
cock
leader,
dice.
so you re-rolled it, and
Yeah.
it came up a 1, and then I yelled out Yahtzee really loud,
Yeah.
and everybody around was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for bringing back that memory.
And it was against like
Appreciate
one
it.
hunter orc,
Yeah, I know.
or it was like it wasn't even a hunter orc. It was like a
Yeah.
Moran
So I mean,
or
it
something.
wasn't as simple as that. But like, if that had worked and the other combats had been kills, because they should have been easy kills, and I think one of the other ones I didn't kill also.
Yeah.
I would have cleaned all those guys off, and on the following turn, at least could have brought some guys down there to fight with them. Because by then there was nothing really over there. They were just having their way with us. The only guy that did okay was that one guy you had up on the up on that piece of terrain that they were trying to capture with the bow. What's their?
Oh, the Watcher.
The Watcher of Karna.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
killing hunter orcs left and right with that guy.
Yeah,
He's like,
they were climbing up onto the train to get that guy.
Yeah.
And
my guy wasn't having it.
Yeah,
This is my piece of terrain.
He did well for a while.
There are many like it, but this one is mine. And then they just flooded over. I think Fimble got in there, and that was the end of it.
Yeah,
Like
they put a stop to it.
he's like, enough of this, boys. We got to get this piece of train.
Yeah,
And yeah, so we ended up getting crushed.
we did. 12-6.
It was 12-6.
Because what ended up happening was they got everything they were trying to do, I
They
think.
killed the hero they wanted to kill. They got the piece of terrain they wanted to get.
Yeah.
The Undying never got wounded or died. Or killed, sorry. So that's 9. And they broke me, which was 12. We killed Yaznag.
So on the left-hand side, eventually we realized where it was going, i.e. a loss. And we raced the fell beast across the table and up on the left. And they saw it coming, but there wasn't much to do about it. We moved up, measured it all out.
Compelled.
You compelled, charged, killed him.
Yeah.
And so that got us 3. And then my advance up that side, by the time I got there, he just had,
There's probably
He-
20 hunter orcs.
yeah, he outnumbered me by a significant margin, so I wasn't going to take that piece of terrain, and that's where Vrasku was, who we were trying to protect.
Yeah.
So I just, I heroic marched with Vrasku and just went back, and then I, surrounded him with guys just in case they were going to do the same compel shenanigans to us, because the Undying was around there. And so we ended up protecting that guy.
Yeah.
And getting 3 for that as well, so we got 6.
Yep. But
And they
it was
got
still a 12-6, so
Yeah.
they got a major one off of
Yeah.
us. And they ended up winning.
And so we went from top of there to tumbled down into, I don't know, probably 5th or something.
Well, it's
6th
usually
or
what
something.
happens is if you play top table and lose, you end up in the 7th or whatever position.
Yeah.
So we flew too close to the sun.
Flew too close to the sun.
But no, it was good. I really enjoyed playing with you for the games.
Yeah, it was
And
good.
honestly, I thought we did a lot better than we were going to.
Yeah.
I learned something that I won't be using Harad unless I have some kind of. I gotta keep the Shadow Lord with them.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, that's the thing with any defense, low defense, right? They die so easy, if they get
to
into
bow
combat.
fight. Even shrink 2 bows, it's like.
Yeah. 5 dead.
So,
Yeah.
we lost. They won. And then I think Damien and Jacob came in second.
So they actually won the game and won the doubles tournament.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So they came in first, won the 2 trophies. Damien and Jacob ended up second. And then I think Cole and Clayson actually came in third. Or Tim and
No, I think they
Tim
came
and-
in 4th.
Tim and Clayson came in third.
No, they came in 4th.
Oh, they were fourth?
Yeah.
Do you remember who came in third?
I don't.
Okay. Either way. Then
Maybe I can look it up and I'll see if I can post it.
sure.
Post it.
So yeah, that was That was Lords or Deadliest Heroes and
Doubles. Yeah. So we're not going to continue on with singles for the Nova.
We're going to split it up.
So we're going to have to do a two-parter for this, otherwise it'll just be way too long. So in our next video, we're going to do singles and also the seminar by Adam Troke, because we had a seminar.
Which happened
right after doubles, was it not?
Yeah, I
on
think
Friday night?
We all rushed. No, what did we do? Oh, everybody went to McDonald's for dinner because it was fast. And then we finished that and came back, and there was a huge lineup of people for the seminar.
Yeah.
But
right on.
Seminar.
Right on.
So
we'll come back to that in the next video.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
Yeah, but for now we're gonna switch over to some flotsam and jetsam, and we're gonna talk about what nobody is talking about right now: these new books.
Well, we're gonna talk about a part of it.
Yeah, we're just gonna pick one thing we want to talk about. And so this is the profile book, Armies of Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings, yeah. Not the Hobbit, but it does have some Hobbit armies in the thing we're going to talk about.
Right, right.
And what we're going to talk about
is these 2 pages.
The Ally
which is
Matrix.
Something very new to this game, but not new to Games Workshop games.
Nope. Something we've experienced before, well, at least I have.
Yeah.
But something that we both think will help deal with the problem that we find.
It's something that this game, it's really hard. It's really hard with the way the armies are structured to build in composition restrictions into the game. Like, you can't take this unit, or you can only take 2 of this unit and 1 of that unit for every 1 of those you take. It's really hard to do that with the way the armies are built for Middle-earth strategy battle game.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really good answer to it. It's trying to address army composition.
Yeah.
And it's trying to do that by giving armies a special rule, like all the ones we've seen from the Hobbit armies. But it comes at a price.
Yes.
And the price is single faction. So you only get it if you're single faction. Or now, if you're an historical ally.
Yeah, before it was you only get the army bonus. Like for me, I play Army of Thror. I only got my army bonus if everything was from that specific army. Now what they're doing is there are historical alliances that happened. Like obviously Army of Thror, so the Dwarves of Erebor.
Yeah, so like in the Battle of Five Armies, you see Iron Hills and Thranduil's Halls, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
and
so they
the
fought
survivors
together.
of Lake Town. So
yeah, they all fought together in the Battle of Five's armies, so it's a historical alliance.
So you can take, of those 3 armies, you could take all 3 if you want, but the sections of the different armies that you take, you retain their special rule because they're historical allies.
Yeah, so the choices are either historical allies, convenient allies, impossible allies.
Yeah.
And
so,
what do those mean?
Historic means that like they actually fought together.
Yeah. And you retain your special army bonus.
You retain your special army bonus. So like the example we said, the Battle of 5 Armies, Thranduil's Halls, Lake Town, and Iron Hills all fought together against the orcs.
Yeah. So if you have an army with all 3 of them in, they all retain their special rule.
Correct. The convenient allies are, I think, something that may have possibly happened.
Could have happened.
Could have happened.
Yeah.
So in that case, you can do it. You can still have like dwarves and Lothlorien fighting each other or with each other. Actually, no, I don't think that's a good example. But anyway, you can have 2 armies that were possible allies. But what happens is you don't get to use your army bonus. So you can still have them fight together, but you don't get to use their special army bonus. So there'll be some situations where actually having those 2 armies work together will be better than what their army bonus was.
Yeah.
So people will still use that, but this is like a restriction on that. And then the third one is impossible allies. And this is like, obviously Arnor could never fight with like the Fellowship. Because the Fellowship was never around at the time of Arnor.
Right.
So that army is not friends or historical allies or convenient allies. They're impossible allies because it never could possibly happen.
Yeah.
They would never be
And if
together.
you do it,
If you do it, the negative is you both don't get your army bonus, and your heroes only grant their heroic actions and stand fast to people from their
faction.
faction. So
Yeah.
you couldn't
So
have.
It's a pretty big negative.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Especially if you're taking, I don't know, something that has more might to
Yeah.
increase the might that this army doesn't have.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a good way of doing it now because it allows, tournament organizers an easy out for comp
Yeah.
stuff. Like you can
only
now
historical.
you can now just say single faction only or historical faction only, or like it's another thing for them to actually
Yeah,
use to
it's a way to comp
control
it,
the tournament. Yeah.
which we both like.
Yeah. So the surprising thing to me when I saw this chart, right, because you can see that on this page is the good and on this page is the evil.
Yeah,
It's like, wow, there really is a lot more
Good armies.
good armies
yeah,
than there are evil armies. So there ends up that there are 25 good armies and 18 evil armies. So
Yeah.
quite a big difference. And really it's because the story is about the good armies. It's not really about the evil armies.
yeah.
So the evil is kind of the backdrop of the story.
They're like the big bad.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of them because there didn't need to be a lot of them.
The really surprising part here is not the number of evil and good allies, but it's the number of those factions that don't have any historical allies.
Yeah,
And on the good side, out of the 25 armies they have, there's only 3 that don't have a historical ally.
and that's like one guy.
Yeah.
So there's 3 factions that don't have historical allies with someone.
Like, I think one of them is Fangorn, for example. So they don't have a historical ally,
No.
right? But
You could argue that the Fellowship they could kind of be.
well, argue schmargue, they're not in the book.
Yeah.
Like they don't in this book they don't have a historical ally.
Okay.
That's the point.
So yeah,
Right? But on the evil side,
yeah,
it's like holy smokes. 18 armies and half of them, 9 of them don't have a historical ally. So wow, that is a huge that's a huge hit to the evil side right there.
yeah,
And it really means the focus was on making or trying harder to make the evil factions fight as single faction.
Mhm.
That's the way I see it. Because, literally half of them can't take a historical ally. So those armies will lose their special rule if they bring somebody else in.
yeah. And some of the special rules for the evil armies are really good.
I know. And like, so for example, Angmar, no historical ally.
Yeah.
There you go. So Angmar is the shade.
Yeah.
Right?
It kind of does limit the cherry picking that we call
It
it.
does.
And the picking the.
It does.
It's picking it's like, hey, I'm gonna take Goblin Town and I'm gonna take the Shade, and that's it. And I'm gonna take the Shadow Lord, and that's it.
Yeah, I think Goblin Town was another one that
They are
doesn't
the other
have-
one, yeah.
Yeah. There's like, well, Isengard doesn't have it, Goblin Town doesn't have it, like there's so many of them
There's a
in
lot.
there that don't have it.
And
So-
I think it's a stop. It's a stop.
And like those 3 that we just mentioned are ones that regularly appear as allies in other people's armies.
Mhm.
Or armies that regularly take allies.
Well, it's the I'm gonna take this army that has holes in it everywhere, and I'm gonna take these models from this faction to slot into those holes
Yeah.
to make the negatives or the weaknesses of that faction not be there anymore.
Right.
So, oh hey, look, I have defense 3 goblins. Well, now I have the Shadow Lord to stop you from shooting them to
So
death.
like an example of one that has a historical ally, like the Corsairs of Umbar, they have one historical ally and it's the Serpent Horde.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense.
Well, they fight together at the Pelennor Fields, right?
They do.
Well,
They do.
They try to.
Yeah.
But the Dead of Dunharl stuff.
Right, so what's your impression of this whole alliance matrix thing?
I like it.
So do I.
It's going to shake things up a bunch.
Because this thing has really added, or it's really addressing two huge things to the game that are both new things to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that is army special rules for Lord of the Rings army, which is huge.
Yeah.
You know, some of them, let's be honest, some of them are better than others, right? But then the ally matrix and how it works in restricting different factions allying each other is also a really huge thing in the game. That's really gonna impact the armies that you see on the tabletop. It's gonna have a real impact.
I like it because I hope that it people start taking single faction armies.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big single faction. Like when I played Herod, that has a little bit of mixture of everything, but it's all still in that section of the book.
Well,
I play Army of Thror, and I play that way because I like the single faction. I like this is what my army is. I don't have friends coming in to help.
I mean, to me, it's become the way I like to play.
Yeah.
I just wanted to look here to see what this army's... Well, this book here, The Armies of Middle-earth, is amazing. Like, you know, we got this several days ago, and we've just spent so much time looking at it because there's so much new in it. You know, and every time you think you found the last thing, you find something else that's changed.
You're like, oh, this guy's profile, this has changed.
Yeah,
and it's like a huge difference.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say was that the other effect of the army special rules is that, like, a lot of people didn't play single faction before that were we're talking competitive players, okay? We have plenty of players that play single faction and they know they're not going to win tournaments and they don't care.
Yeah.
Right? And that's great. But what this does now is, with some of these special rules, it actually makes these single faction armies that didn't have a chance in hell of winning a tournament, they can win.
Yeah.
They can really win now, right? So that's another really good thing that's come out of this whole special rule thing.
Yeah, I think one of the things that was quoted is somebody had said that Jay had said that with these new rules, it's gonna make every faction viable.
Yep.
Like there's some factions in the old rules that it's like you never saw Khand and you never saw the Easterlings.
Yeah.
At the high end stuff because the armies just weren't competitive.
Yeah, and they both got good special rules.
Yeah, like their armies are really good.
Well, so the Khand, like, skirmish bow cavalry, they don't count towards bow limit or something.
Mm-hmm.
I forget exactly, but something like that. So
and
they can really build a good skirmishing archery.
They can, and
if you can find the models.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Easterlings.
Yeah.
They have like a shield wall rule that affects everything in their army, including cavalry.
Did they keep the one where you re-roll for the game to end?
I think so.
Kind of thing?
I think they
did keep that, yeah.
Yeah, but their guys are now riding around, if they keep them clumped together, with defense 6 horses. They get the +1.
So these are just a couple of examples of special rules that are, making armies competitively viable.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's going to make it fun. I like the fact that everything gets thrown in a box.
It's a big shake-up. I mean, we've seen people that are upset about certain models getting, like, nerfed.
But
it is, it happens. Like, like in
we've been through it so much.
Yeah, like it happens in every game. Like, rules change, things change, and like for me, it's like a good example is in Isengard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see what they did to the Feral, and your reaction is nobody's ever going to use that model again.
Yeah.
Because it went from 12 points to 13 points and got a lot worse. Because they dropped its defense from 5 to 4.
Yeah.
I was like, well, nobody is going to use that model ever, right? Well, okay, like, let's think about that for a little. Maybe it was that it was just really undercosted to begin with. Okay, because when you compare that to the Morgul Stalker, nobody ever used it.
Yeah.
Because it was 15 points and just not worth it.
And it was
right?
expensive.
Yeah, and now that same model, which I think they didn't touch the profile at all, is 10.
Yeah.
So now everybody's going to use it.
Yeah.
Right? Well, if you compare the Feral now at 13 to that model at 10, the Feral is fairly costed. Yeah. Because it gets all kinds of stat upgrades, and the special rule, the Berserk rule, where you roll a 6 and it's a save. Mm-hmm. You know, you compare it to that model, and the Feral is like, well, yeah, that's where it should be. If that model costs 10, this one should cost 13. Right? So it's like, well, maybe it's really not all that.
Yeah. So a whole bunch of profiles got changed.
Yeah.
We got all these new army list rules. We got this new allies matrix, which is going to stop people from taking... Well, they can still take them. It's just going to change things up.
Yeah.
A lot of the profiles got changed, like the big stuff that everyone was taking got nerfed a little bit, or changed in a way that you won't take it to work that way. Some of the models that no one would ever take before have been made so good that, like, you're going to see them more on the table. Like, for instance, the Balrog. Yeah. Like, people are going to start playing that thing again. Yeah. Because he can lead a ton of goblins, and goblins are cheap, and he's not a waste of the points anymore. Like, he's actually viable.
Well, it's become now to the point where the army is about the Balrog now.
Yeah.
It's almost an auto include for that army. So, like, if you don't like playing with the Balrog and don't want to do that, it's like, well, okay, that's kind of rough, because now that the Balrog is kind of... He's the big hero for that army. He's
the iconic monster hero of that army. Yeah. It's like when you see Rivendell, like Elrond's out front, or Glorfindel.
Well, it's good too, because like a lot of the profiles in the books got combined. Mm-hmm. So where you had, you know, multiple profiles for Elrond, for example, to name one, now there's one profile.
There's still a couple that have two.
There are, yeah. Like, and some will have two because they appear both in Lord of the Rings books and Hobbit books. Mm-hmm. Like Galadriel is going to be one of those. Yeah. She's going to have two because she's in both eras.
Yeah, because this is the Armies of the Lord of the Rings. Yeah. We have the There and Back Again book. Yeah. But we were told that within the next few months...
Christmas time,
we're going to see another book like this, but for the Armies of the Hobbit. Yeah. Which is, I'm kind of scared and happy about, because I have a lot of armies from the Hobbit.
There's a lot of question marks hanging in the air.
I just really hope that they don't, like, wreck my Erebor, or not my Erebor, my Erebor warriors or my Grimhammers, but...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they won't wreck those models.
We'll have to... I'm cautiously optimistic.
All right.
But I think that's
it for today's episode, because we are going to film another episode, which is going to be about our experiences at Nova in the singles, which was 5 games, and also probably my favorite part of Nova, which was Adam Troke's seminar.
Oh, it was awesome.
Which was supposed to be an hour and ended up an hour and a half, I think, and was amazing. It was amazing.
And then we got to buy the books right after.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
But for now, we will just say, get your toy soldiers out and come and play some games with us at the OSBGL.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time, guys.